Wits Mining, we have projects in Australia and the important one, which is in South Africa on the Witwatersrand gold deposit. We are one of Australia's newest miners. We're mining now, we're cash flow positive. We're mining in a small way, but I'll illustrate to you today how that's going to grow significantly over the next few months and then again early next year. So as I said, there's been a huge thing in Australia recently about conglomerate-hosted gold deposits, and there's been a bit of a gold rush based around Novo's resource, success in Australia in the Pilbara, and looking at whether Australia and South Africa were amalgamated back in the Archean, and really looking for Witwatersrand-style gold deposits in Australia. But we're the only company to have ground in South Africa and Australia. We have expertise in the Wits, and today really what I'll talk about is all about the Wits and not about what we're doing in Australia at all. We're in profitable gold production. We believe that we can have very significant and massive resource upgrades over the near future, and that will be because we're building from a known base in the world's greatest gold fields, and our aim is to become a mid-tier gold producer. And I think pending the permitting issues, which we really don't see any major issues around, then all this is quite doable for us. This is all public domain information, and you can look it up. The most significant thing is that we're a company with a 3+ million ounce gold resource and significant scope to grow that, as I'll demonstrate, and are massively undervalued. So our two major projects, the Witwatersrand and the Pilbara, we have a lease on the Central Rand. The Witwatersrand is easily the world's most significant gold deposit, 1.4 billion ounces of gold produced. Okay, 40% of all the world's gold comes from the Witwatersrand. So this large basinal structure with the gold deposits rimming the basin. Gold was discovered up here originally, Johannesburg to the north, Soweto to the south, and we effectively own two large leases on the western end of what was termed the Central Rand. Central Rand was where gold was discovered back in the 1890s at a place called Langlaton by Australian prospectors, believe it or not, and that created the gold rush, and the Central Rand was where the initial gold deposits were found. The thing about the Witwatersrand which makes it so big and so different than any other gold deposit that you might work on or see is the continuity of the lodes. Once you're in one of these systems, they effectively are amazingly consistent. And you can walk underground from here on our ground along the main reef for 80 kilometres. They all join up, one reef, one conglomerate-hosted gold reef. You can walk underground for the whole way. It's produced an unbelievable amount of gold, and you can see these. You know, any one of these leases would be a major mine anywhere else in the world. Our lease, for example, has produced 41 million ounces of gold. That makes it nearly as big as all of Kalgoorlie, as big as Bendigo, as big as Ballarat, from this one lease. Amazing amounts of production. So we have amalgamated two historic leases, one called DRD, one called Rand leases. And again, when I got involved in this project, I thought, well, 41 million ounces produced, how can there be any left? And that's the story that I need to unfold to you now. But through a combination of fact that both these leases had very different mining philosophies, different targets, there's ample opportunities for us to exploit the remaining resources. And the remaining resources are substantial. Mining ceased here in the year 2000, and it ceased on a day. So mines operating one day, producing around 80 to 100,000 ounces per year, shut the next day. Low gold price, social unrest, end of apartheid, you name it, was all going on. Some political issues around company ownership as well. But at that time, this had a 12.8 million ounce resource. Okay, ASX listed in DRD Gold. They just listed on the Australian Exchange. They were trying to get out of South Africa, and that was their existing resource. Now, that resource comes, from three effectively conglomerate-rich horizons. The Main and the South Reef, the Bird Reef and the Kimberley Reef, all mined historically and all very well known. The bulk of the ore comes from the Main and the South Reef, the most of the reefs. And what we're doing now is we don't explore to get back to resource. We are simply going back to these old resources and rehabilitating them. So we're taking the old 13 million ounce resource and going back through old data. We mine the old data, we go back and we prove it up. We've got an enormous storeroom of old paper, plans and linens. The documentation around these deposits was amazing and fantastic. So we're rehabilitating that old data. That's where we're at the moment, 3.2 million ounces, okay? And that will continue to grow. Now, I suppose the other consideration is you might think, well, of course, it's all underground and it's all 3 kilometres deep. But again, that's not the case. And we're mining from the open pits at the moment. Okay, we don't have a mining lease at the moment. We're in application for our mining lease, but we have the right to do some small-scale mining. We're producing around 1,000 ounces per month, and we are cash flow positive within the joint venture to around 250,000 Aussie coming to us every month. Okay, so it's a small-scale operation at the moment, but it's going to grow appreciably. So this is where we're at the moment. We're mining on the Kimberley Reef. We've got applications for 2 more small-scale permits, one on the main and the south reef, very high grades, and another one on the western end of the Kimberley Reef. So this is the whole project, and we have put in the application to convert the whole project back to a mining lease again. And once we do that, we'll get access to the underground. So this is where we're currently mining on the Kimberley Reef, open pit mining, but there is ample open pit opportunities here, somewhere between 250 and 300,000 ounces. So there's 2.2 kilometres of unmined, open pittable main and south reef, because the old timers went straight underground. They didn't mine the open pit mining wasn't a thing. These are very narrow, but again, and this is one of the areas where the opportunity is for us, on the RAND leases, they were mined as open pit, but they were never mined on the DRD. So there's 2.2 kilometres of strike of main and south reef there for us to open pit. There's 6 kilometres of strike on the Bird Reef. Again, was partially mined on the RAND leases, but never mined at all on DRD. There's another 4 kilometres above and beyond what we're doing already in the central Kimberley. There's another 4 kilometres of open pittable material on the Kimberley Reef. All these reefs are about 700 metres apart. So, and there's infrastructure, reappearing, there's housing, and one of the reasons that we want to mine this, and the local people want us to mine, is that once the open pits are done, these areas can be rehabilitated and people can go back and live there, and we'll progress with underground operations. And we've got 2 fantastic underground operations that we wish to proceed with at the start. The first one is the Kimberley Underground. We're about to come out with a new resource upgrade on that ground as we speak, and that'll be out in a few weeks, and then we'll be evaluating another reef. When I say reefs, and I talk about the Kimberley, Kimberley's not one reef. There are 9 payable reefs within the Kimberley. There are multiple reefs within the Bird and the White Reef system. There are multiple reefs within the main and the south reef. So there's never just one reef. There are multiple opportunities here. So you can see it's a complex situation. We're not looking to go back and mine old pillars and reclaim old stuff. We're looking at giant areas that were never mined, simply because there is simply so much gold here. It's quite amazing. And then Roe Gold Underground, a fantastic area of the main and south reef that was never mined underground, or very limited mining. So we feel that we're in a great position to scale up this, and the key here, one of the keys is there's 38 Windsors and underground and vertical shafts here. So underground access is not a thing. Now we won't be building any major infrastructure. We'll simply be rehabilitating old infrastructure. So where are we at? Well, we've been open pit mining since July. In December we start, and in March, which was just recently, we made the application for 2 new open pit areas. We've been progressing the mining right application. That's the application to convert the whole lease back into a mining right, which will enable us to go back underground and access all those open pit areas that I showed you. And that was just submitted only a few weeks ago. We're expecting the additional areas to be granted in August, September. So we'll go from 1,000 ounces a month to 2,500 ounces a month, and that'll be the first step change for us, so doubling of our production. And then once we can get the full mining right, which will be early next year, we'll again add another 1,000 ounces plus a month from open pit, and we'll be looking to get back underground. Look, this is a magnificent opportunity on the world's greatest goldfields. We have a very small market cap and great opportunities ahead of us. The Wits is not done. It's still the world's greatest goldfield. and we think it's a wonderful opportunity. Thank you very much.